Hello class, I thought to create a couple short videos on how to get started on RStudio Cloud. So RStudio is actually web-based, has become web-based, or you can download the RStudio app and use it locally on your laptop, on your Mac, or on your workstation that you use. So we're going to use the web-based one. So we're going to go rstudio.cloud. If you don't have an account, you can sign up for one. It's very straightforward. You put your email address, create a password, first and last name, or you can sign up with your Gmail account. Or if you have a GitHub account, you can use that as well. So I already have an account, so let me log in. So RStudio use workspace, is project-based. So you can start new projects. So I'm going to create a new project. And you want to name your project something that you will remember in future what you use it for. So I'm going to name it RStudio Practice Problems because we're going to practice using RStudio. So once it's loading up, we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to name this one. So let me go back here. So RStudio Practice Problems. So RSR is a command-based program. So you can type in the commands here and very much use them. But I suggest go to File, New File, and create a script window. That way you can keep track of all the commands that you use, and that way you can refer back to them later on. So we're going to work with data in R. So let's look at how we can import the data. Of course, you can create data from scratch, but let me show you first how to import data. So I put some data in our canvas, so you can download the data. If you go to home page, if you go to the module that we use, so if you look at chapter 3 or chapter 2, we can download the data we had, so data set 2. So you have the file. I click on fast food comparison one, and it's going to download it down here. I don't know where it saved it on this machine, so I'm going to look where it is. So I right click, show in the folder, and I see it saves under the downloads folder. So let's keep that available. We go back to RStudio. So the first step is upload the file into the workspace. So we're going to go to choose a file. It's already set on downloads. I have the file. I double click on it. And because it's the first time we'll be importing this data set, so we have it in the workspace. Now we're going to import the data from workspace into our console. So it's the first time we are using this on this machine. So it's asking me to install a package that let us use or import Excel data set into R. So it's going to take a couple of minutes for this package to be installed. And it should be ready in just a second. All right, so we already said, so let's browse and find the file. So we already have the fast food in our workspace. So I click on that, I open it, and I see our data set with 3 variables and the data set that we have. So let's import this. Now you have access to the file in RStudio. Let me go back. So you see the file. So let me go back. Let's close that. We view that. So let's go back to our script. So here I showed you how to import the data from outside. What if you want to enter the data manually into R and work with that data set? So for instance, there is an example that we looked at, which has to do with how to confuse thirsty bats. So there was a set of data, the number of attempts to drink from the smooth metal surface for bats were shown as a set of numbers. So if you want to define a variable, so let's call that one number of attempts. To enter the data, you want to do less than dash. We're going to enter some value as a vector. So C command would tell R that we want to create a vector. So we have the data 64, 144, 13, 26. So manually enter this data 163, 8, 25, 164, 56. So I save the data here. So once you save it here, it is not going to run it on R. So you go here and you run the command, and you see at the bottom that in our console has created a variable called attempt. And if you look on this window has all the data set and all the variables we have created. So this is how you would create a variable. Next video, we will look at how to create a histogram for this data variable, or using our, in our case, using our data set that we had imported.